Hello and welcome to my electoral analysis of the 2018 Senate map. We've previously done videos on safe seats in the race, both Republican and Democrat. Those are separate videos. Please watch them, like them, comment below. We've also done a video on likely seats. That's a single video. It's both Republican and Democrat because we do not have too many seats marked in that category. Those seats lean strongly towards one party but are not considered outright safe. So this video will be on states and seats that lean towards one party or another. We don't have too many of those. This should be short. We're going to start with Arizona. This is a sole Republican seat that leans towards its party, competitive Republican seat that leans towards its party. Its incumbent is Republican Senator Jeff Flake, who won election in 2012 narrowly by about 3 percentage points. This will be competitive, and it will probably be a top-tier Democratic target. Arizona was close in the presidential race. Trump carried it by 3.9 percentage points. And Arizona's population is increasing, and Flake is dovish on immigration, which could help him among Hispanics. But he is facing a primary challenge from State Senator Kelly Ward, who nearly toppled or came within a closer than comfortable margin of toppling Arizona's other Republican Senator John McCain. Therefore, Flake probably will face a damaging primary. There'll probably be a lot of outside group funding and spending. So therefore, we're marking it as lean because obviously Arizona is a strongly Republican state as far as statewide elections go. It has a Republican governor, and Flake is a pretty well-known incumbent. He's gotten into his controversies, but he's still a strong incumbent. And there's nothing really to indicate that he would be in danger other than the fact that he's being challenged in the primary. So were he to lose the primary, it could become a toss-up and maybe even lean in the Democrats' direction if they recruit a credible challenger, which it is important to note they have not yet. They were attempting to recruit Blue Dog Representative Kristen Sinema, although she declined to run, and so far they've only recruited minimal candidates that will probably have no chance of winning if they were to win the primary, although it is unlikely they will. So Flake's race leans towards the GOP. Moving on to New Mexico. This is the home state of Democratic Senator Martin Heinrich, who won his seat, albeit somewhat narrowly, about the same as Flake in 2012. He was replacing a Republican Senator, Pete Domenici. He lost to Republican Representative Heather Wilson, and he has a marginally good approval rating in the state. He has a 51% approval rating. He's somewhat moderate, not overly in that direction. He's a liberal, but he's not as far left as, say, Sanders or Elizabeth Warren. Therefore, he might have appeal to a greater portion of the moderate or an independent base as would be in other cases. His race is definitely leans towards the Democrats. One caveat in the race is New Mexico has a Republican governor, Susana Martinez, who very well could challenge Heinrich. She has not indicated interest in doing so, but of course it's 2 years out. Heinrich depends on who would win. It probably would be Martinez. I'll say that and probably get wrath from Democrats, but Martinez has won with wide margins in both her gubernatorial races, whereas Heinrich has only won by a narrow margin. So she is popular and therefore could be competitive if she jumps in. It could even be competitive if she doesn't. It depends if the race is prioritized by the Republican National Senatorial Committee or even other outside groups such as Club for Growth. So therefore, I'm marking it as lean Democrat until a challenger gets in, and we'll decide then. We're going to move on to Michigan. Michigan is the home of Democratic Senator Debbie Stabenow, who was first elected in 2000. She defeated Republican incumbent Spencer Abraham by a narrow margin, and since has won by increasing margins since then. The reason it's marked as lean is it looks like there could be a credible challenger in Representative Fred Upton, or also Michigan rockers Ted Nugent or Kid Rock. it could be competitive. I mean, I'm saying that with a caveat, obviously. Stabenow's a strong incumbent. She has strong ties to the Michigan Farm Bureau, which is influential in the state. The Farm Bureau is a Republican-leaning organization, but in this case, it is supportive of Stabenow, so that could be a key factor in the race. She's the top Democrat on the Agriculture Committee in the Senate and has the ability to get a lot done if she uses her power. She's been opposed to President Trump, who actually carried the state narrowly by 0.3 percentage points, 11,000 votes. Turnout was down in Detroit, and it could be expected to be down as well in 2018, since midterms generally tend to have lower turnout and lower minority turnout, especially because Detroit would have a large African-American population. So if she can increase turnout, she probably could win. But that's why we're leaning it in the Democrat direction, but not not too much, because we're a credible challenger to emerge who probably get a lot of backing, especially from outside groups, and maybe even the Michigan GOP would prioritize that race. There's also an open governorship in the state in 2018, or there will be. The Republican governor is unpopular due to the Flint water crisis, but it depends. The state is currently governed by a GOP trifecta. They hold both houses of the state legislature and the governorship. However, the other senator from the state, I should say, Gary Peters, won in 2014 easily over former Michigan Secretary of State Terry Lynn Land. So therefore, it probably leans in Stabenow's direction. It might even more than lean in her direction. We'll see. We're going to leave it as lean Democrat. Moving on to Maine. This is actually not a Democrat. It's an independent. Independent Senator Angus King was elected in 2012 with 51% of the vote. He's probably a strong incumbent. As governor, he was more centrist than he has been in the Senate. He has a center-left voting record. He likes to kind of flaunt his bipartisan bona fides, but he's mostly been a reliable Democrat in most things. It would actually be kind of hard to name one piece of legislation wherein he has been bipartisan, but therefore, Maine is a Democratic-leaning state somewhat. I mean, it doesn't lean too much in their direction. One candidate that has announced a run against King is State Senator Eric Brakey, who is from a district in around Auburn, Maine, and the district is often seen as a blueprint for statewide success for Republicans. Republican senators Olympia Snowe and Susan Collins held the district before becoming senators. So it's interesting in that context, and it could become competitive. Brakey's kind of got some maverick positions on drugs. He's conservative and has been a successful legislator. So we'll see how that goes. King likely will retain the seat, but then again, if Brakey proves to be a formidable challenger, he'll get a lot more money and have a greater chance of upsetting him. And of course, it could be more of a publicity stunt for Brakey to gain statewide notoriety, or at least publicity and greater name recognition. In this case, King obviously has the advantage in name recognition. Brakey has been endorsed by Senator Rand Paul, which is interesting. He chaired Paul's campaign in Maine and Ron Paul's campaign. He has libertarian tendencies. So moving to Virginia, this is the last seat on our list for lean in one direction or another. Virginia is the home of Democratic vice presidential candidate Tim Kaine and senator now. He won election in 2012 and lost in 2016 as the vice presidential candidate with Hillary Clinton, and has since returned to the Senate. He is running for re-election. One potential Republican candidate would be conservative commentator Laura Ingraham, who has somewhat indicated interest in the race. She's considering it, has not decided. Another candidate would be Carly Fiorina, who has said she may move to Virginia to run against Kaine. She has indicated interest in the race, but has not decided. The one rationale behind Ingraham running would be to drive up conservative turnout. Kaine is self-described as boring, and I don't want to say I think he is, because that would be kind of partisan of me, but I'm going to say Ingraham would significantly drive up conservative turnout, and that would really help her. It could also drive up conservative turnout throughout the country, since she has a radio show as a popular conservative commentator. She also has she also comments on Fox News. So therefore, it leans in Kane's direction because Hillary Clinton carried the state by 5 points, and also because he's the former governor, he was popular, he has a decent approval rating, he's not like uber popular, but therefore we're going to lean in his direction. It could become engaged. If Ingram jumps in, we'll see how it goes. She could drive up conservative turnout and could win the seat. Depends. She could not perform as well in a general election in a presidential year. Obviously, she'd be very popular with primary voters in Virginia. So that's that's kind of the caveat in this race, and that's why we're keeping it as lean Democrat, not likely, as some organizations have pinned it. So therefore, that's our analysis of the lean seats. Please like the video, comment below, and subscribe. Thank you.